What's up guys? Today we're going to check out the Anker Nebula Cosmos 4K SE laser projector. And thanks to Anker for sending this over for me to review. If you want more info on this projector or want to pick it up, you can find links down below in this video's description. Inside the box we get the quick start guide, the remote, batteries, and the power cord. The projector itself is small and portable, measuring 10.4 inches in height by 8.7 inches deep by 6.5 inches wide, and it weighs only 9.9 pounds. It also has a very convenient carrying handle. On the front is a fixed lens as well as the sensors on both sides. On the top you'll find the power button, and it also has built-in 15-watt speakers on each side. As for connections, there's the power inlet, two HDMI 2.1 inputs with one supporting EARC, a USB input, and a 3.5mm audio out. It's rated for 1800 ANSI lumens using a laser plus LED hybrid light source. You can project anywhere from 60 inches up to 200, and if you're a gamer, the input lag is spec'd at 19 milliseconds. It is rated up to 30,000 hours of laser life. Alright, once you run through the projector's initial setup, you will be taken to the home page. This does run off of Google TV with officially licensed Netflix. So, as you can see, this is a pretty snappy user interface. You get a lot of recommended apps and a lot of stuff that Google thinks that you will like personally. But what we're going to do now is go over to the settings and check out some of the projector settings. I'm not going to go through all of the settings, just the relevant ones to the projector itself. First option here is projector. From here we've got image correction settings. We've got auto keystone correction settings, auto screen fit. So if you turn this on, this will try to automatically fit the projector's image to your screen. Auto obstacle avoidance will move the image in case something happens to pass in front of the projector's lens. And here we have the manual image correction settings. So instead of the auto keystone correction, you can perform a manual keystone correction. From here you get a few different points to adjust your image. So pick a point, let's say the upper left corner. You can drag it around and then you can try to square it up with your screen as much as possible. Keep in mind that this should be used as a last resort, because by digitally manipulating the image you are effectively cutting off the effective pixels. So since we are getting 4K resolution, if you shrink this image down smaller, you are no longer getting a 4K image. You're getting something a lot smaller. You could be back down to 1080p or 2K, 3K. So what you're going to want to do is try to get this as square as possible to your screen, so that way you get the cleanest image possible. And if you want to reset what you've just done, hold the OK button for 3 seconds. There'll be a little timer in the center of the screen and everything will reset back to normal. For manual focus, if you tap on the focus button, and by moving the controls left and right, you can manually focus the projector yourself. And the next option here is one-click image correction. This will automatically try to fit the image and square it up as much as possible so you get a perfectly square image. Again, try to do this manually yourself rather than having the projector do it for you. Next option here is zooming. Keep in mind that this does not have optical zoom. This is digital zoom only. So if you're zooming all the way down to, let's say, 50%, this is no longer 4K resolution. You are about 1080p right here. So what you're going to want to do is go zoom out to 100% and move the projector to fit your desired image size. This could be a deal breaker for some because you might have a chair or something in the way of where you want to place the projector for your 100 or 150 inch screen size. So you will have to make a compromise with having a fixed zoom rather than an optical zoom. Next setting here is focus settings. You can autofocus this at startup, autofocus after you've moved the projector, or then manual focus, which we just did. Under advanced settings, first option here is eye guard. You can turn this feature on or off, so if you happen to step in front of the projector's light path, it will automatically turn off the laser light so you don't accidentally blind yourself. Next option here is wall color adaptation. You can calibrate this in case you have a wall that's off-white. Say if you have something that's yellow or some different color that is not white, you can calibrate the projector to try to give you the most accurate colors using your color wall. The next option is projection mode. We've got auto, front ceiling, rear, and then rear ceiling. But we are going to use this on front. And the next option here is motion settings. You can put this on low, medium, or high. So let's say you happen to bump the projector and it gets off kilter just a little bit. You can have the projector automatically keystone and then refocus the image to give you the best image possible. Next one is autofocus calibration, which this will automatically focus the projector for you. And then under smart solutions, this will give you some different alerts such as projector issue alerts, fine tuning, Nebula smart pop-up, and then a laser overheating protection notification if your projector gets too hot. Next option here is display and sound. From here, we've got the brightness settings. This is set to 100% output right now. So this is the brightest this projector is going to get. We've got ambient light adaptation, which will automatically dim or brighten up the projector's light output depending on how bright or dark your room is. For picture mode, we've got a few different options here. We've got Nebula Master, we've got Standard, Vivid, Sport, Movie, Game Extreme, which will automatically kick you into either Standard or Extreme mode. If you put it on Standard mode, keystone correction will be turned on, which will up your response time. But if you want the quickest response time, by turning off any kind of digital processing, such as digital keystone correction, this will give you the best response time. So if you want to get the best response time for gaming, you're going to want to keep this on Extreme. And then the last option here is Conference. But I am going to keep this on Movie mode. And then we've got black level, contrast, saturation, hue, sharpness settings. And then under advanced settings, we've got color temperature. You could choose between user, cool, standard, and then warm. And then here you can change your RGB gain. Here we've got digital noise reduction, MPEG noise reduction, DI film mode. You can turn that on or off. Gamma, we've got normal, dark, and then bright. MEMC will give you that smooth motion look. So if you want that soap opera effect, you can turn this on either low, middle, or on high. For color space, you've got auto off on BT709, Adobe RGB, BT2020, or DCI. Or you can put it on auto for the easiest results. And then auto color tuner, you can enable or disable this. So if you have the proper calibration gear, you can change all of these options manually to give you the most accurate color representation. And the same thing with the 11 white point balance correction. Next option here is restore everything to the default settings, and then you can turn on or off the Dolby Vision notification. Under sound, we've got a few different presets, which we'll check out a little bit later. We've got Bluetooth speaker mode. So by turning on the Bluetooth speaker mode, you can use your cell phone or mobile device and send music or whatever you're watching over to the projector and use it strictly as a Bluetooth speaker. We've got speaker delay. And then under expert settings, you can turn EARC on auto, or you can turn it off completely. And the last option here is audio output. You can put this on auto, bypass, PCM output, Dolby Digital Plus, Dolby Digital, and then you can adjust the digital output delay. This is all through the EARC output. And that is it for the projector settings. As far as 4K HDR Dolby Vision support, let's hop on over to Avengers Endgame on Disney Plus, and we can see here that this does support 4K HDR. This is the IMAX enhanced version, and it is Dolby Vision in 5.1. This projector does not support Dolby Atmos output. And as you can see in the upper left-hand corner, it does say Dolby Vision, so you get that little pop-up for any time that you watch Dolby Vision content. Now, if we check out Damsel on Netflix, this is 4K Dolby Vision in 5.1. It does support Dolby Vision in the upper left-hand corner, but just like the Disney Plus app, this only supports 5.1, so no Dolby Atmos. And here we are in the YouTube app. Again, this does support HDR. We get the giant HDR pop-up in the upper left-hand corner. And then going into settings, again, this does support 2160p, 60 frames a second with HDR. And that does look very nice and very sharp. Now, if you are watching content, by hitting on the settings button and then going over to picture, we can see here that we've got some more picture options. So right now we've got brightness settings at 100%, but we've got a few different modes for Dolby Vision. We've got Dolby Vision Bright, which does brighten up the image. We've got Dolby Vision Dark, which will enhance black levels. And then we've got Dolby Vision Vivid, which will give you a slightly brighter, more vivid, colorful image. Then here we've got default screen size. Right now it's at 100 inches, and you can see the lower that we go, which means the smaller screen size that we go, the projector will kind of dim the image to give you the best output for that specific screen size. So as we go up, let's say all the way up to 300 inches, this will try to brighten up the image to fill a larger screen size. But I'm going to keep it at 120 inches is where I'm at right now. And then for default screen gain, I am assuming that 100% screen gain means a 1.0 screen gain, and then 110 probably means 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, and so on. My screen is actually 1.1, so I'd be at a 110%. Or if you were to go down lower, you should be able to see how the black levels slightly change. So the higher we go, the darker it slightly gets. And the lower we go, the lower gain that you go, the black levels do boost a little bit. So if you had a negative screen gain, it's trying to raise the black levels up to bring out some more shadow detail. But since I'm at a 1.1, we're going to keep it at that. And then we have the other settings that we've seen before. Now, one thing to keep in mind, this projector is a lifestyle projector. It's actually got a handle on top of it, so it's meant to be portable. It's meant to be carried around, moved from place to place. This is not a projector used for critical viewing. So for instance, if we take a scene such as this one in Alien Romulus, which is a very dark scene with a lot of dark colors, we can see that the black levels here are actually more of a lighter gray rather than black. If we go into the settings, try to change anything to get a better black level, as we go up, everything becomes much more raised. Everything is really gray. The darker that we go, we can see that we're just starting to crush a lot of detail while still keeping the black levels at a slightly raised amount. So you're never going to get a true black. I mean, even if we go all the way down, even at its darkest point, the blacks are still gray. So I'm just going to keep this at its default setting at 50. Let's say we just bump up the contrast a bit. This gives the image a bit more pop, but again, you are significantly raising that black floor. So again, just know that this projector is not meant for the critical eye. The black levels on this are pretty average at best. But again, that's not the point of this projector. This is, again, lifestyle projector. It's meant to be carried around, enjoyed with groups of people. Maybe you set up your kids at a sleepover party. You just want a big screen. Get something like this. It's small, it's portable. It has everything built in. Now, if you are watching non-Dolby Vision content, such as HDR10, you can choose Nebula Master, which will automatically identify highlights and shadow detail to dynamically enhance contrast. It's going to look very similar to what Dolby Vision does. Now, of course, one area where this does shine, especially for this price point, is going to be with movies and content that have bright, vivid colors. This projector does throw out an incredibly vivid image. As you can tell here, the reds, blues, greens, all your primary colors really pop off the screen. This does remind me of, let's say, kind of a gigantic LED TV set. Not quite OLED, but an LED set, and a really big one at that. Now, if you go ahead and put the projector into the extreme mode, this will give you input lag down to below 20 milliseconds. It's not going to be a competitive gaming projector or even close to a competitive gaming monitor. But for me, at least, I got acclimated pretty quickly to how the controller reacts to what was happening on screen. So playing games such as NBA 2K didn't pose much of a problem. Racing games, first-person shooters, all were perfectly fine once you get acclimated to it. Now, one thing that is missing from this projector is there is no 3D support. Unfortunately, if you try to play a 3D movie through it, it's only going to play back as 1080p. 2K, so it's only going to play back 2K material, not 3D material.
Hello, I am a nerd from the Nerd Brigade, here to nerd on all your audio and visual needs.
Do you have to say that every time you show the house?
If I want to get paid, yes.
Isn't that kind of demeaning?
Only if someone brings it up.
Okay, I won't bring it up.
Thanks.
Come on in.
At the time of this video, the Nebula Cosmos 4K SE is selling for $999.99. This is a go anywhere, watch anywhere, game anywhere type of projector. Its top handle makes it a breeze to transport, and anyone can set this up for a great viewing experience. Comparing it to my 85-inch TV, which is a really big TV by the way, and cost over $4,000, moving up to a 100-inch projector screen will simply dwarf the 85 inches and get you a much more immersive experience. This is getting you closer to the movie theater feel and for a fraction of the cost of a large screen TV. Sure, it's not as bright as a TV, but with an ALR screen, it can get you pretty close. Plus, it's portable. When was the last time you carried around a 100-inch TV to your friend's house to watch the game? If you're looking for an on-the-go, all-in-one big screen entertainment device, the Cosmos 4K SE should be on your short list. If you want to pick one up or get more information, I will leave some links for it down below in this video's description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.